everybody. We're reconvening at 7:59. Sorry for the delay. In accordance with the open meeting law, the board states after the record that this meeting is being recorded by NORCAM and may be recorded by other local media. You could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sure, just as a reminder for those who are attending, we have a bit of a new configuration in the room here, so we've kind of pulled the audience a little bit forward, pulled in the desk here to try to improve the audio. We are using Microsoft Teams, so that might be new technology for folks as well, but you should be able to access without an issue. If you are not presenting here at the meeting this evening, you're going to be muted, so you won't be able to mute or unmute yourself or turn on your camera. We are recording the meeting through NORCAM and also through Teams as well.
Okay, we're going to start off with something very good. Proclamation is for Alex Carpenter, who has been invited down to join us in celebrating her and her successes. So, Mr. Massey, would you like to do an introduction, please?
Proclamation or introduction?
Introduction about what this is about.
Introduction. Well, I want to welcome everyone. I want to welcome Alex to Town Hall. I'm sure she's been here before. Hopefully not as long as I have. Congratulations on your achievement. It's really incredible. I've looked into a lot of your accolades, and it's very impressive. On top of being a gold medal Olympian, so you spent a lot of years with USA Hockey, a lot of years with Boston College. Unfortunately, we never got to have you play for North Reading, but that's all right. But thank you very much. It is our pleasure to honor you here. To have your day for this Saturday is Alex Carpenter Day. North Reading's first ever gold medal Olympian.
Yeah. So in honor of that, we have a proclamation. So could we have the proclamation read, please?
Proclamation. Whereas Alex Carpenter has become North Reading's first ever gold medal Olympic gold medalist, as Alex and the USA women's ice hockey team captured gold in the 2026 Winter Olympics on February 19th, 2026, hosted in Italy. And whereas Alex's dedication and effort has led her to being chosen as one of the assistant captains of the team, helping to be one of the leaders to the gold medal accomplishment achieved by the USA women's ice hockey team. And whereas Alex has learned that hard work truly pays off, where she dedicated 25 years to her craft, the sport of ice hockey, and it has guided her to some of life's greatest opportunities and achievements, while also being an aspiring athlete for young athletes to follow. And whereas Alex has been honored and proud to represent our country on and off the ice, devoting 12 years as a player to the USA women's ice hockey program, along with being a pivotal contributor during the team's pathway to their gold medal victory. And whereas Alex's incredible achievement provides all of us a sense of both American pride and North Reading pride. And now therefore, the Select Board of North Reading hereby recognizes and honors Alex Carpenter for capturing the Olympic gold medal and by providing exceptional representation for our country and to North Reading, and does hereby proclaim July 25th, 2026 to be Alex Carpenter Day in North Reading.
So, Mr. Tyler, can you read the motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move to proclaim July 25th, 2026 as Alex Carpenter Day in the town of North Reading and to approve the associated proclamation.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. Massey. Any further discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just want to point out a couple of Alex's accolades here. One, an incredible hockey family that I've learned. A couple of things that really poked out to me. One was outside of the Olympics, Alex, you were the first pick overall in the draft, which I thought was incredible. And what I think I read was she graduated from Boston College as the leader, the program leader in goals, assists, points, as well as power play goals, game-winning goals, and plus minus, and ranked 5th in NCAA history for both goals and points. So an incredible resume you have there, and all the honor to you, all the achievements to you. I think it's I'm honored to honor you, and it's a very special day. So we're happy for you.
I have a question. What's next for you?
Well, these guys have all talked me into the next Olympics because they want to go to the French Alps.
Oh, may we?
Groupies, huh?
They love Milan so much they want to go to the next one. So.
Why not?
Start working on your French.
Yeah.
No, looks great. No, fantastic. Congratulations. We have other people here who would like to congratulate you as well. Maybe Mr. Jones, would you like to start first? Oh,
AJ and I are going to go together.
okay.
You want us over here, Mr. Chair? Alex, we all wanted you to come here tonight, not only to honor you, because we wanted to see the gold medal. The citations and proclamations are great, but you've brought distinguishment to your family, yourself, your community. We talked in the hall, you know how fond I am of Boston College Eagles. Having a daughter and a wife and a brother-in-law, so go Eagles. And we look forward to everything the future holds for you in the next Olympics. We have an oversized Hallmark card from the House of Representatives for you. It reads as follows: be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers sincerest congratulations to Alexandra Alex Carpenter in recognition of your outstanding Olympic career and your accomplishments as a member of the 2026 gold medal U.S. Women's Olympic Hockey Team. And that the entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors given this 20th day of July 2026, signed by the Speaker of the House and myself. Hopefully we can all join you in 4 years on scene and present another one in person. So, congratulations and best wishes.
Good evening, Alex. My name is AJ Pagley. I'm Senator Bruce Tarr's Chief of Staff. Fortunately, the Senator drew the short straw tonight. He had to be up in Salisbury. I'm filling in for him. He would have loved to be here. I wish you, first of all, I want to congratulate you. What an honor it is for you, an accomplishment for your family and for the community in North Reading. Congratulations. And I also have a citation from the State Senate. Be it known that the Massachusetts State Senate officially recognizes you with this official citation. Be it known that the Massachusetts State Senate hereby extends congratulations to Alexandra Carpenter in recognition of your outstanding accomplishment as a member of the 2026 gold medal U.S. Women's Olympic Hockey Team. And be it further known that the Massachusetts State Senate extends best wishes for continued success, and that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate, signed by Senate President Karen Spilka, attested to by the Senate Clerk Michael Hurley, and it's offered by Senator Tarr. Alex, congratulations. And I have one more thing for you. Since the first time
We don't have them in the House, so.
yeah, yeah, the Senate gets a little extra. First time we recognize a gold medal winner, you have to have a Senate Cup.
And Mr. Chairman, her one request for her day was just a ride around town in the fire truck, and that is taking place on Saturday around
amazing.
noon. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, make the sirens go, so we can all hear it. You guys want to do a picture?
Take a picture.
Yeah, let's take a picture. Oh, yeah. Oh, we need to sign the proclamation, right? And we already both?
Yep.
Which,
Do you want to ask her if she'd like to make any comments?
oh, yeah. And would you like to make any comments?
Please make some comments.
Please.
We'd love to hear from you. Go right.
No, I just truly want to thank everybody, especially the town of North Reading. My family and I we moved here from New Jersey, and the community was so welcoming, and we're just so honored to have been a part of this community and still a part of this community. And You know, my family, the rest of my family wishes they could have been here, but they'll be there on the 25th, and they're just so beyond excited that, you know, the support we've received from this community, and myself and my family wouldn't have been here without all of your help, so we really appreciate it, truly. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, gifts.
Thank you, folks.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for
See you
coming.
Saturday. Enjoy it.
Mr. Chairman, through you, we recognize that we seem to be having some audio challenges through the Teams connection, so our IT guys are just trying to straighten that out right now.
So we're on hold?
No, it's not Teams. It's the house speakers only work. If you can hear yourself modulate, then the house speakers are loud enough that everyone
so
gets
we-
picked up.
More aggressive, speak more aggressively into the microphones. then.
Yes. Yeah. As a rule. Right now, I can hear myself. That's the cue.
Okay.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Eddie, are we having an issue with broadcast? Yeah, I'm working with Rob on it right now. Okay.
So we're on hold? Yeah.
Okay, so if it's recording and we are on Teams, I think we can continue.
All right. Let's move on to the gift from to the North Reading Police Department.
Mr. Chairman, you didn't take the vote for the proclamation.
I think we did, didn't we?
I didn't hear. I
Oh,
think
yes. Oh,
It's a
okay.
motion and a second, yes.
Okay, I thought we did. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Nobody changed their mind.
Nobody's changed. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. As you said, Mr. Chairman, it's the closest I'm gonna get to gold, too.
Closest I'm ever been to it. That's it. That's amazing. Okay, so now we'll go on to the next.
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept the following gifts for the North Reading Police Department. Chamber of Commerce, $250. Stoneham Bank, $2,500. Stoneham Municipal Employees Federal Credit Union, $250. The Savings Bank, $250. Gift card from Walmart, $250. Reading Co-op in-kind item water donation.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. O'Leary.
Mr. Chairman?
Discussion? Yeah.
Just through you, these are donations or contributions that are largely expected to support National Night Out this year, so directed toward the efforts of the Community Impact Team. And we thank the donors for helping to make it happen.
Yeah, who went after them? Who likes, you know?
Who solicited?
I
Who
think that
solicited is the best word, I
well, we have
guess.
to be careful how we solicit donations, but we certainly made the community aware of the need,
Okay.
and there were a number of folks willing to come forward.
Who reached out, yeah.
Well, good. Thank you, everybody, for doing that. National Night Out is an important evening, and it's nice to have funding to do it. Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Do you want to give us any background on Nichols?
Sure.
Start?
Next
Yeah.
item is street acceptance. So this is something that was approved at town meeting in June it's basically an extension of Nichols Street into a new area of subdivision behind St. Teresa's Church. There's two actions that we're seeking here. First is to accept and sign the deed, which is being provided to us by the developer, and then to go through the customary routine process of signing the order of taking, which is what will complete the transaction upon being recorded at the Registry of Deeds. So there is a motion. Mrs. McNeil is here to notarize your signatures for the acceptance and for the taking. So she'll be doing so as soon as you guys finish voting.
Okay. Did I see there's a transaction of $1? Is that what I saw?
We call it $1, yes.
Do you need $1?
We won't actually be paying $1. There should be two motions.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept the deed for Nichols Street and to sign the associated deed acceptance.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. Massey? Is that who it is? Yeah. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
And does Mr. Tyler have the deed acceptance document? Is she? Jen has it, okay, perfect.
One over here, please. Thank you. This is order of taking and acceptance of deed. I'll give you the pen. Thank you. Well done. Mr. Tyler. Does it have to be the same pen? It has to be blue. Goes into the back.
You can't see the difference, right?
I'll copy.
This is the official quill.
This is today.
Thank you.
Who has one more?
Okay, I think,
Sign both? Did they sign both?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. We have one more vote to take, but you
Yep.
actually signed the document already.
Okay.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve and sign the order of taking for Nichols Street.
Second.
motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. Massey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, through you, the next item, the report of the bylaw review committee. You had a summary of the report in your meeting packet, and the Public Services Director, Lillian Hartman, is here this evening. my thinking was not necessarily to go item by item on the agenda, on the recommendations, but more to just generally discuss what they were. So I think, Lil, I know, Lil, you're on there virtually. I think you're able to unmute yourself and turn your camera on. Do you want to test that?
Was she
Mr.
part of
Cooper,
the
I'm
committee?
getting multiple reports of the audio being terrible, and I can hear myself through this microphone right now. So I don't know what's going on tonight, but. Lil, are you there? Lil, are you there?
Hello,
Lil, can you hear us?
this is Lillian, and I think I'm presenting the bylaw review committee report or notes from our meetings.
Please.
So it was a front and back side or 2 pages of summary, and I'm not getting your audio, so if someone give me a thumbs up, I can walk through them a little bit, and then, okay. Okay. I have it open for me. Do you need that, if you need that screen shared, could Mike do that, since I can't communicate back and forth? Okay, great. All right, so at the top, we just reviewed the charge of the committee and who was on it. We've had good participation from all 5, and then quite a bit of support from Danielle McKnight and Lydia Eldridge, so I want to thank them for that help. The structure of the report is sort of 3 pieces. So one is just getting around and reading the language of the bylaws. They seem like minor corrections that in some cases it looks like the clerk could make without a town meeting vote, like a spelling correction. But we were advised by the AG's office that if we're doing a revision in general, we should just have a lot of these voted. So you'll see corrections to spelling errors, a correction to the dictionary, which was last updated in 2002, to use a most current edition instead. That was a recommendation from KP Law. There's a reference now to neuter gender, and KP Law suggested a different phrase interpreting as gender neutral. There's also the option to replace references that are to one specific gender to they, and that's for people of unknown gender. So, like, if the chair so chooses, they may appoint a vice chair, instead of if the chair so chooses, he may appoint a vice chair, where he is the current language. There are a couple places where, like, the index had the wrong chapter description or number, and then in one of the sections, it seemed appropriate to reference that another set of bylaws may also apply. There's also, many times where a certain bylaw may be related to other bylaws, or it may say, this is further regulated by the Board of Health. And this is the one place where the AG doesn't have any advice on it. It's just something that our E-code online listing could allow us to add links. But again, they charge us every time we do an update in the E-code. So if we do this as part of a batch with any amendments, it would be a part of a one-time fee. So I'm going to proceed to the second page, and I'll look at the screen to see if there's anyone. Okay. Yes, the second page. These top half is warrant ready recommendations are relatively simple things, or things that you might have feedback on that we could potentially revise for October. And then below that is things that look like they would need further discussion or evaluation. And I just want to make clear, while I mentioned KP Law a couple times on the previous page, we have not generally vetted this whole list by them. So this is really just comments collected from staff at this point. The first one is in our public way, to make sort of a distinction. Right now, public ways definition in the general bylaws happens to include private roads because it's not clear that it's only roads that have been accepted by town meeting or state or county. We have a section called 1.5 that lists the fines from everywhere else, but it's missing some of the more recent added bylaws. We would like to add those into the index there. And then C, this may be an area for further discussion by the select board. It looks like section 5.10 of the bylaws describes one process for filling board and committee vacancies. It doesn't seem to match the select board policy on appointments exactly. So I guess the committee felt comfortable saying to the select board, you know, if you prefer the select board policy, we recommend repeal of the bylaw or an amendment to one or the other, so they line up. I thought D was kind of cute because it hasn't been updated since 1954, and requiring bonds for a $2,000 project might be unreasonable. I don't know if it is, but anytime that there's dollar values in general, we kind of suggested that those be looked at. And in this case, we have procurement law and legal counsel and insurance advising when we should or should not require performance bonds. So likely that could be repealed. If it doesn't want to be repealed, I just recommend updating it because it's 70 years old. $2,000 might be very low. The police department asked to shift their basis for assessing fines to a fiscal year to match the way that the fire alarm fines are assessed, because it's more practical with the way we can track activity. Our animal control officer mentioned that our bylaws currently only have a fine or a requirement that people vaccinate dogs, but there is a state requirement that he should also be enforcing for ferrets and cats. And then our planner suggested this, and it also made sense to the group. When residents of private roads want to have their roads accepted, the current language is long, so could be simplified to really only include bylaws and not additional language that's sort of like explanatory, or it might happen this way, this office might do this thing that could take a while, sometimes it takes 2 years. So that kind of explanatory stuff we thought should come out of the bylaws. Bylaws are usually like the dictated process, and then the flexible description of how it happens now should be left to the departments. But also we wanted to clarify in the bylaws itself that the residents of a private street can't just get together and vote to become a public way. They're voting to petition town meetings, so we wanted to make sure that's clear. And that the street may be accepted by town meeting, but we can't assume that town meeting will. So just correcting some of those sentences. Our building inspector recommended on the building numbering, because it's so specific in our bylaws, that we should add reference to the Mass State Building Code and incorporate its minimum size requirements. And the DPW requested that we, instead of requiring 24 hours notice before a burial, ask for 48 hours to make sure they can staff it and prepare the cemetery. And then the next two are about sort of matching state law. So right now our bylaw appears to have a maximum fine of $300 for marijuana consumption in public, whereas the state seems to have a $100 maximum. So we could check with KP, but that looks like we can't actually assess 300 and should bring it down. And then KP Law had suggested that because of case law, our sex offender residency restrictions are actually not enforceable and should be repealed. And then, again, that reference to dollar values. There's two types of dollar values throughout the bylaws. One is sometimes they talk about fees, like the town clerk may assess a $1 fee if a dog tag is lost. I would suggest every time we say $1 or 500 or 2,000 in the bylaws, we instead, where possible, refer to that department or that body's authority under MGL Chapter 40, Section 22F to assess fees, and let that department maintain a schedule so that it can be updated occasionally. And that state Chapter 40, Section 22F often requires that an elected body approves changes to those fees, so it wouldn't necessarily be, Sue changes the dog fee every year by whatever amount she wants, but it would be that she maintains the list and the bylaws, and a town meeting vote isn't required to change it when needed. It could be potentially approved by the select board. And then similarly, fines, it appears in state law, we are required to have the dollars for fine amounts specified in our bylaws, and that's to do penalties and non-criminal disposition of bylaw violations. However, right now we have the section 1.5 where they're all laid out in an index form, and then they're also sprinkled into every bylaw, such that if we wanted to do a overall fines update for inflation or just a general revision, it would require tons and tons of changes throughout the bylaws. If it would be possible and recommended by KP Law, which I don't know yet, we'd recommend replacing each of those dollar values throughout the bylaws to fines as specified in the index, so that there's really only one place where we'd have to update fines should they require an update. And not seeing any questions, I can move on to the last section. These, we didn't feel prepared to make specific recommendations for October town meeting, but saw that there were some questions about the bylaws and potentially other experts that might be able to weigh in or make future amendment proposals. So one is the practices for getting permission to do changes to historic properties. The bylaws define two separate pathways, one through the planning office and one through the building inspector. Currently, the building inspector has done all of these that we know of in history, so it's unclear whether we also need the planning office to have a pathway for handling historic permits. Also, we have a soil removal bylaw, Chapter 149, that, as far as any of us knew, is not actively enforced. It may be something that could be repealed or amended, and our town planner was able to find that in North Andover, they have a pretty thoughtful policy that exempts from the soil removal permit anyone who also has a larger permit going on. So if they're doing a development or a big construction project and soil removal is part of that, they wouldn't need the separate soil removal process. It would be encompassed in their other permit. It, I think, creates a body that's a qualified body to review it. But it's not something that we could get into details and define. It may not even be a necessary bylaw if there isn't a concern about soil removal. Our stormwater bylaw is Chapter 156, and DPW wasn't a big part of the bylaw review committee, but is a big part of the stormwater planning for the town. And it looks like further discussion would be needed to figure out whether the current permitting process defined in there works, whether the enforcement works, or if responsibilities or language needs to change. And then I wanted to mention that in terms of soil removal or soil filling, our current stormwater bylaw is pretty limited to things that discharge into a public storm drain, whereas other towns seem to have broader bylaws. So that, like, you may violate a bylaw by, building a berm on your own property that only negatively impacts your neighbor, even if it doesn't hit a public stormwater drain. So something to consider. The Conservation Commission, we did not really review Chapter 196 because we anticipate they may ask to hire a consultant and do a full review of the conservation bylaw. And then our building officials mentioned a concern that currently the state seems to recommend that building officials sign building permits for properties even if they have a conservation violation or they don't have approved septic for that project. And it would be something for probably CPC to consider if there's anything that they would like to do in the zoning bylaws that might impact the building inspector's ability to coordinate that better. And then last two, Historic District Commission or Historical Commission may propose something like a demolition delay. Our building inspector mentioned that those are common in other communities for older properties. But we didn't refer it to them, just mentioned they would be the ones to think about that. And I think our recommendations would bring all the dollar amounts into one place if possible, or out of the bylaws entirely. And at a future town meeting, there may be recommendations to sort of correct those all to be internally consistent or to update them for inflation, that kind of thing. But we don't have dollar update or suggestions for you. That's all.
Mr. Chairman, through you, Lil, can you hear us?
I can hear you now, Mike.
Okay, so through you, we have a summary report that's been put before us. Obviously, if we were to take every single item that were on here and generate a warrant article for it, it would be a very lengthy warrant. So, we wanted to present this information. The committee did conduct the review that it was asked to do. We can look to consolidate these into, a couple of articles to be forwarded to town meeting if that's what the board would like. I'm happy to work with Ms. Hartman to take a pass at doing that so that we can at least start some progress on the things that we know need to be updated and bring it back to the board. I'm not sure whether there's anything that jumps out at folks as, needing to be a standalone item now, or if you want to take some time to think further about it. Obviously, we have until the early part of September to sign a warrant for the town meeting if we want to put any of these on for action in October.
Yeah, I think the first section is just housekeeping in my book. There's not a lot of controversy there. We're just updating it, making it consistent. So I would think that would be just one section of its own on a warrant is we did housekeeping, because then people know it's, we're not changing anything. We're just updating the terminology to be more consistent. So that, obviously we'd make it available for people in detail. They could find it on our website, but I don't think we're on a town meeting showing everything we're changing, I don't believe. We'd be referring to some sort of document that talks about the housekeeping.
So,
Does that make sense?
So everything in recommendations on wording and navigation, being a single article.
Yes.
Making those changes with a description, maybe a more detailed description being available for people to see, not necessarily in the warrant, because it could be many, many pages.
Right.
In the warrant, but certainly making those changes available.
That's my suggestion.
So that would address the recommendations on wording and navigation. That gets us started. Lil, can you still hear us?
Let's just start there. So, through the chair? Through the chair? Did you have a comment?
I didn't say anything.
Oh,
Yeah, I
you
would've
look
gone
like you're
through
ready to speak.
I'm going through you.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, not through you, to you. After all the work this committee did, your only recommendations to put on are the spelling corrections?
We took one section at a time. We haven't talked about the backside of the pages yet. I'm just looking at the first section. He's trying to figure out how to do warrant articles.
Right.
And so the first section is housekeeping, which that would be one warrant article. That's just the first page. We're not talking the backside.
Okay.
Any other comments? Okay, let's go to the backside.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to Lil, can you hear me?
Yes.
Does that sound manageable to try to work with the town council or the town clerk for a single article to do the first section, recommendations on wording and navigation?
I don't know if we can get it in one warrant article, but I'll look for examples with KP Law.
Okay.
And try to find the.
Let's say few warrant articles,
Okay.
Yeah.
as few as possible.
And then warrant ready recommendations. This means more, there's more work to go here, right? To get where it needs to be. Is that correct when I say that?
No, I think
Yeah,
this
we
is
don't-
very,
We don't have specific language, like, proposed for most of these, but just thought they might be manageable for us to propose language by October town meeting.
So would we have to, as select board, do we have to kind of vote on these changes? Is that part of our responsibility, or is it just the town?
Absent a citizen's petition, it's probably going to come through the select board to place warrant
Okay.
articles on the warrant.
Okay. So, but like on individual things, we have ownership, but on individual things, are we voting on each of these, or are we?
If they were an individual article, so we're looking for direction to provide you a draft warrant,
Yeah.
or a draft list of warrant articles, and then a draft warrant. And, some guidance on the warrant-ready recommendations would be helpful. Like, do we want us to draft warrant articles for all of these, which will be quite a number? Do we want to try to do something that consolidates them by subject matter, which we certainly could do?
Yeah. I would think subject matter and/or, if there's a department affected or something like that. We'd say, well, this is all Board of Health issues, right? I'm just making it up. I don't know what I'm saying. But, could we block it in that way? In that way, at least we have a common topic for
Yeah.
each warrant.
We could certainly do that if that's acceptable to the board.
Mr. Chair, just a suggestion, any town bylaw that needs to be brought in alignment with the state law could be kind of an article in and of itself, since we have to follow state law, and that could just be, this is what we have to do. I think that'll help to
Okay?
align a number of these.
Yeah. Something like that. People kind of like that approach? I think that's a go, Michael.
Okay. We can work off of that and try to make as much progress as possible.
Yeah, and then the recommendations for further evaluation, that could potentially be pushed up to within the warrant-ready recommendations if they made further progress, right?
If something comes to us, I think the less the board objects, Lil, we could circulate this list, particularly that last category of recommendations for further evaluation, to the appropriate stakeholders to review them. And if warrant articles come to us, great. If they don't, there's certainly the opportunity for a future town meeting.
Yeah, right. That kind of makes sense to me, too.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just want to thank the committee's work for fulfilling this requirement that we have. I do want to note, probably when we set up this committee and the candidates that are, or the individuals or the roles really of this committee, I probably didn't say anything, and as time went along, I started to think about this committee, and I think moving forward, their charge is done, eventually for October. If this is required every year, my only thought moving forward is we have to change the committee. We have to change the individuals on this committee. And sorry, Lil, nothing against you. What I mean by this, Mr. Chairman, there are no residents on this bylaw review committee. All of it is town employees, and none of them live in our town. These are our bylaws, and we should have resident representation on these committees. What do you think?
I don't worry about them not living in our town. They work in our town, and they know our town from their expertise. I don't have any particular, if some citizens want to be on the committee, I don't have any particular problem with that. I don't see a problem with that, and we can always add them on. But, these people know their job.
I know they know their job, but there are bylaws, right? The residents of North Reading, they don't impact
Well, who
them
else?
as much.
Well, let me just say, my turn. Who else knows the police department better than the chief? And he may not live in our town.
He does live in
He
our
knows
town,
our-
by the way.
He knows our stuff, so. I don't see that as a criteria, but adding on some citizens who want to potentially join, on the next round, we'll certainly discuss that. I don't see a problem with that personally. And it's always nice to have town voices as well. Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah.
O'Leary.
No, to me, it's, first of all, these are the individuals that are responsible for implementing the bylaws and carrying them out, and finding people and notifying them of any infractions, and monitoring dirt coming and going out of town. And that's why I think it was put together that way too, so that, you know, the people who are directly affected by it and are responsible for implementing and carrying through in the bylaws were put on there to let's take a look at it and make sure that they make sense. And we got a lot of good feedback from the department heads in relation to necessary changes to come into compliance and/or changes. You know, as far as any specific bylaw changes that are required, most of the years that I've been sitting here, most of it's been initiated through town hall because there's a need to come into compliance with town, with state law, or a need to step up some enforcement action or something of that nature, which state law allows us to implement. It's generally generated here. If citizens have some problem or concerns with any of the bylaws, they certainly can bring it forward to the board, to the town administrator, and again, we take action and react to it. So, to me, this is more of a, you know, unless you're going to do an overhaul of your bylaws, there's a compelling need to do so, and I don't know that there is. At this point, I can't think of anything that isn't covered, that needs to be covered, or something that's covered that needs to be changed. And I haven't heard any suggested changes from people in years. If there is, you know, they bring it forward, the board reacts to it, put a warrant article on, and town meeting decides. But I think an ongoing working group is important, you know, just to take a quick look at it, refresh ourselves as to, you know, what we have on the books, and again, those people in our professional staff that are directly impacted and responsible for carrying them out are the best ones to determine whether they work or they don't. And again, if there's something specific that any citizen may have in relation to a bylaw that's either needed and not on the books, or one that's on the books and needs to be changed, I would think they would bring it forward anyway. So, but I think, you know, a working group, primarily with our administrative staff, to ensure that it's done and it's reviewed on a regular basis is important. And I think they're the ones who are probably best suited to do it as part of the routine business of the town over the course of the year.
Just clarifying, through you, Mr. Chairman, just clarifying, you're not in favor of having any residents on the committees?
If there's a compelling need to review all of the bylaws for changes, codification of new bylaws, then, yeah, then you do a bylaw review committee, or a charter review committee, you know, to do so.
That's what this
But
is.
I haven't heard any suggestions from any members of the board, yourself included, or any members of the public at this point,
I'm not
of a
on the
need
committee.
for.
I'm not on the
Well,
committee.
please,
No, no,
please
no.
don't talk back and
No,
forth.
no, no, I'm
We
just
already
saying, I
done
haven't heard,
one at a time.
having sat here, well, I haven't heard of any suggested bylaw changes over the years unless they came from our administrative staff primarily. And again, I'm unaware. And I'm not in favor of forming committees that have nothing to do.
Mr.
Then, you know,
Chairman,
if a citizen wants to be on there and the suggested changes are significant enough, sure. But from an administrative standpoint, just do the review. And again, if there's something specific that's gonna go before a town meeting, you know, then there could be an advocacy group for the change.
Mr. Chairman, the only reason, I'm gonna take that.
You're good? Okay. All right. Michael, is that helpful?
It is, yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lil.
Thank you, Lil.
Thank you to the team. That's
Could I, could I
a
ask,
daunting task.
could I ask that we take up the select board policy revision since Ms. Hartman assisted in drafting
Is this
that?
social media?
Yeah, the social media
Social
policy,
media.
correct,
Yep.
yes.
Let's go to social media.
And Lil, are you still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Great, we'll go right on to that, if that's okay.
Sure.
I'll turn it over to Lil, if that's all right. Lil, if you just want to give a description of what you've prepared, you don't have to go line by line through it, but just describe it and why you've proposed it.
Sure.
Can I ask just before you get started, how did this even come up in the first place?
Thank
Just
you.
to kind of give us a
Yep, Lil, give you an
orientation.
explanation.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So I have been approached over the past couple years by several committees or committee members who want to have more of an online presence. but who want to do it officially, like they want to do it the right way, and they ask for guidance on what is the right way. I also think there are potentially some committees that have gone ahead and created Facebook pages, for example, in the past, which may in some cases not be recoverable if the members of those committees are no longer active in the town and the ones who set them up didn't pass them on. So for continuity, when there is change in appointments on public bodies, and also just to provide guidance for those who are asking, this is largely an adaptation of best practices for staff in public settings when it comes to social media, and it draws from sort of some KP Law white papers on social media use. I think Andover has a really strong staff communication policy that might have brought some of this in. And a lot of these concepts were reviewed by our IT director and human resources director in drafting a staff guide. So this is a much simplified version that might apply and be practical for volunteers for the town as well. And I've talked to Matt to make sure that the recommendations are also feasible. So for example, if we tell a committee they should be using a town email to create a Facebook page for their committee, he has said yes, it would be possible with our new Office 365 system to create a committee email and then have those individuals who are currently appointed able to access that email address. So it's sort of a synthesis from those different places into, hopefully, again, as short a document as possible. I'm not sure if I should read this one. I would just say the overall intent is, again, to know who you should go to get permission and access to the required email addresses to start an account, and to remind members of public bodies that they have obligations under federal, state, and local law, including open meeting law, when they're posting information online. It's an official communication of the town, so they should be strictly following their ethics guidelines, their open meeting law guidelines, and this is sort of an overview, but we would have additional information available through the town administrator's office, through me, or through IT if they said, wait, how does the records retention law impact what I should be doing? We can give specific references. I did not put all the links to those things in the proposed policy, so it suggests an overview and to call the town administrator's office at the end. Both if you have a disaster that occurs, like a breach, or if you just have questions about getting started or about how these laws apply.
Gotcha. Comments from the board? Yes, Mr.
Mr. Chairman, through you, how will this, does this impact anyone's First Amendment rights under the Constitution?
Lil, did you hear that question?
Yes, so we have the option to disable all commenting on Facebook posts, for example. But under sort of First Amendment protections, we can't necessarily cherry pick which comments we want to keep if we open commenting. This policy then suggests that we should turn off commenting, or if a committee really wants to have engagement with the public on the comments, they would need to have an approved moderation policy with the town administrator.
Mr. Chairman, why would we want to limit the town engaging with residents? Don't you think the more often the better? Why is this policy being proposed? Is there?
I think what she explained. Lil, do you want to explain? Did you hear the question?
Yeah, so if a body has a published content moderation policy that the town has approved, they would be able to engage. And for example, if their policy says what we define as hate speech, we will take down, we would then have, if we made those decisions, we would have to be able to defend those if we were sued.
Lil,
So we need to
how
written in
can,
advance.
how can you, as a town, direct a volunteer? Like, I'm just thinking committees, right? if someone doesn't work for the town, why do they need to abide by the town's policies? I'm playing devil's advocate,
Through you,
obviously.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, please.
Because if they've been appointed to the position, they are agreeing to abide by the policy. The guardrails for our public officials are different than they are for those individuals in their capacity as residents, or for that matter, as private individuals. So I think the expectation would be that if somebody is going to join a committee and that committee is going to be active on social media, that they would be following the policy.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
where in the appointment does it say that they have to follow the policies? I'm just wondering, I mean, you're going down a road that's, I think, risky.
I guess I would assume it's inherent, but
Okay. Assumptions, all right.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman?
yes.
Yeah, no, I think this is a good suggestion in the way of a policy here, because as, towns, boards, committees, and commissions, if they're going to engage in social media, generally it's for informational purposes. They're putting out information based upon whatever their board, committee, or commission is for the public's consumption. It's not necessarily to engage in a debate on the merits of what it is. It's to determine, or excuse me, to inform the public as to what that board, committee, or commission has made a determination, has taken a position, and they're looking to inform the public. Just as the town administrator puts the notifications out on the community page, it doesn't engage in the conversation back and forth. It's there for informational purposes. And I think a specific set of guidelines is very important for our boards, committees, and commissions to have the guidance and structure as to how to engage. Again, individual members of those boards, committees, and commissions can have their own individual Facebook pages, as many of even the members of this board have, where they can engage in conversation and they can engage with the public on social media in their individual capacities as a member of the board and give their insight as to what their position is on something. But the official information from a board, committee, or commission for public dissemination of information needs to be coherent, straightforward, and not necessarily engage in debate on social media. The debate takes place in their meetings as the board and the majority of the board, a quorum is present, and comments are made. So I think this is good guidance. I think it's good practice to put forth now for the, as more and more people rely on social media for information. I think it's a good idea. I think it protects the town. I think it allows the town and the board committees, the town committees to inform the public through social media, but not necessarily to debate the issues on social media. I don't think that's the appropriate forum. So I think this is good. I think it's a good idea.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Sorry. Does this limit select board members?
I think everybody's going to adhere to this policy.
Individual members?
Oh, I'm not asking you, Mr. O'Leary.
No,
I asked the
my
chairman.
question to you is individual members, is that what you mean?
I asked the chairman.
And through you,
I
Mr.
don't
Chairman,
know what-
I want to know if it's individual members he's talking about or collectively as a board.
So individual or?
Not collectively as a board. We certainly,
Individual.
you've been here for 36 years, Mr. O'Leary. You know that select board here has never had a combined social media page. So individually, yes.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Unless Michael tells me something different.
Mr. Chair.
Everybody subscribes to it, correct?
And if someone breaks this, what are the penalties?
I think it depends on the appointing authority.
Okay.
So it would likely come back to the select board for anybody that you are appointing to a board or a committee. The idea here is to provide a framework for our boards and committees that wish to become active in social media and are looking for guidance. To be clear, there are others that have chosen to become active on social media and have not sought guidance, and we haven't done anything with regard to them. My standing recommendation to folks is not to have commenting enabled, because it would require some monitoring on our part, and I fear that it would be opening us up to some liability should we determine we want to start removing comments that are being made, favorable or disfavorable. So I think that's why we're seeing this recommendation in the form that we're seeing it in. And you're trying to provide that guidance. This has been an issue that's been out there for years at this point. If you're not ready to take a vote on it this evening, that's okay. If you want to consult with your constituents and get some more feedback or talk with boards or committees, I think that's okay too. I certainly don't want to rush this, but we did want to get something in front of you because we're being asked. We have a North Reading Town Hall page that generally is publishing things on behalf of the town hall, its departments, and at times actions of the board as a whole. We don't allow commenting in any way on that, but I do know the information gets shared to other forums where there is commenting, which is good. It doesn't put us in the middle of having to moderate it, because we want there to be discussion in the community. We don't want to be responsible for that discussion because I worry about liability. There are instances of other communities where they've opted to censor what people are saying rather than time and place content, and that opens us up to liability, which we certainly don't want to do.
Okay. So I feel good about what's been done. Looks like they've done best practices, looking at other towns, so I feel good about that. So I think we have a vote coming up on this. And does he have to read the entire motion?
I would recommend it.
Okay.
So
before we get to the vote,
I just think,
So we'll start with Mr. O'Leary first.
to Mr. Gilberto's point as far as liability, in addition to that, we don't have the resources to have, again, if town hall staff gets involved, again, many of our boards, committees, and commissions engage with our town hall staff, and we don't have staff time to be engaging on social media either. We haven't got the resources to do that, nor should we necessarily. So I think it's important to put the guardrails in place, get the information disseminated, and there's lots of sharing that goes on and lots of opportunity to comment. Otherwise, the town isn't responsible for moderating the social media discussion.
So,
Okay, Mr. Messing?
Mr. Chairman, again, specific here, if a selectman has, a select board member has a social media page where they speak in their role as a select board member, you're telling me that that falls into this?
Would that fall
And
under
again,
that, Michael? I don't know the answer to
The
that.
penalty to that is not written in here?
So to be clear, if we're talking about a, single elected official, or for that matter, a single appointed official who is looking to make comments, I don't believe this policy covers them or was intended to cover that instance. I'll ask Lil to provide her comment on it to make sure I'm not misunderstanding it, but this policy is intended to be for an official, I'm going to pick on a committee, cultural council Facebook page. No different than the North Reading Town Hall Facebook page or any of the many other pages that do exist. It's not intended to, nor do I think we have the ability to, regulate an individual member from comments or an individual resident from comments. But Lil, could you just elaborate?
Yeah, I can say that because we were paralleling a staff sort of department page as our model, it was meant for the Disability Commission or the Cultural Council who want to have an official page representing their body and its activities. There is an item K on the second page, which says we don't restrict the use of personal social media, but in accordance with the KP Law white paper, wants people to be advised that if you refer to your committee role, your account may be subject to some of the same state and federal rules. And there's case law on it. We can refer people who are interested in that to the specific white paper from KP Law. But yeah, that's just kind of a note for people to be aware of.
And to be clear, we have no intention in assisting any individual in setting up an account. This is entirely intended to be for our departments, boards, and commissions, where to the extent we can assist them, we will. That doesn't mean there may not be some other state law out there that could apply right now, regardless of whether this policy occurs, based upon an individual's action and how they represent themselves. That's a totally separate issue. It's got nothing to do with this policy.
First Amendment.
Right, yes, Scott?
Just so to clarify, so for example, if the Youth Services Committee wanted to set up a social media webpage, they would seek the assistance from the IT department and from the town administration.
We're going to ask them to ask for help from the staff.
Okay.
And to be clear, there are probably instances of accounts that are out there right now that we may be saying to them, you need to make some modifications to what you're doing
Okay.
as well. And again, I can't say this enough. If we're not comfortable or if you'd like to hear from your constituents, there's no issue with taking the time to hear from them, to share this and let people see it.
I'd like to hear from KP Law on this issue.
That's also fine, we're happy to.
It's got their name written all over it.
We're happy
I'd like
to,
hear from them.
Didn't they help do this, though? Did they help?
Lil, could you just speak to that?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Was town council involved in writing this?
No, we used their papers as some of the sources of information.
Okay. So, I mean, again, personally, I have no issue with referring it to
That's
town
very
council for more feedback, but
Okay.
again, I'm pretty confident what's gonna come back from them on this. I think the more important thing is how you all feel about the many committees that you appoint and how this will impact them.
I think it gives guidance. I mean, so you have
That-
something
that's what we
to
see,
aim
but
for,
I
you
think-
know? It gives you a framework to know what to do and what not to do. And it takes away, then people don't have to think about, you know, am I doing the right thing, wrong thing, with good intent? You know,
Sure.
and they might do the wrong thing with good intent, and we're trying to prevent that from happening.
Sure.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just to clarify, the social media presence would not replace the town meetings that are subject to open meeting law. It would be an informational outlet in addition to what might be put in the local newspaper. That says there is a meeting and these are the topics. Or
Correct.
here's the agenda.
Yes.
This is where it's being held. If the meeting is changed at the last minute for reasons, and we can't print it in traditional media, this would be an additional supplemental resource.
So that's exactly correct. That's what we largely are doing with social media right now, and that's what I would see us doing through this policy. Where we get to sort of the boundary, it could be a department, board, or committee survey. Give us answers to this survey, or give us your comments, which I'm going to be very nervous about saying yes to be honest with you with regard to the forum, because I think there are plenty of such forum out there right now where comments can be offered and there's great discussion that happens that the town's not liable for, responsible for, and can't be accused of censoring.
Right.
But I see it as largely the outward projection of information to people in the community, as we do right now through the website, through the newspaper, through NORCAM.
Okay, well, I'm good to just run it by KP Law.
Yeah, I think that's
What we
totally
want.
fine.
Good idea. Yeah. I thought that already happened for some reason.
Sure.
No, that's good. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, if you guys want.
I'd like some clarification on elected board members, or elected members too. Thank you.
Okay. All right. But, very good, Lil. Thank you again. Not easy stuff. And I know you're the webmaster, so you see it all.
Thanks, Lil.
Mr. Chairman, therefore, I will not read this motion right now.
No, we're going to refer
We're
it to
gonna hold
town
off
council for
to
review.
the next meeting.
So you're saved for tonight. You don't have to read it tonight.
K and L were cut off of the paper, just so you know.
Oh,
I'll let Jen know.
thank you.
Okay.
These two.
Oh, yes, we put there. Yeah, she's here.
No, he's not going to read it. When we do read it, okay. So I think, Mr. Chairman, we have to go back to item 8,
Open meeting.
an open meeting law complaint, and I will attempt to provide information about the complaint. The law encourages you to discuss it, to review and discuss the response, and then to authorize the issuance of the response by town council. And so just by way of a summary, we received a request for executive session minutes. The request was in an email that I believe was time-stamped June 26, 2026. I believe it was forwarded to my email account by the chair on after business hour, the next business day, which would have been Monday, June 29th. I was obviously away on vacation, as I think was discussed in the meeting before. The meeting agenda was due to the town clerk's office, I believe, on Wednesday of that week because of the holiday on Friday for the next meeting on Monday. The law requires that when a request for executive session minutes comes in, that it is reviewed at the next available meeting or within a certain number of days, whichever is first. I returned from vacation on June 6th, and obviously this was not on the agenda. I consulted with town council and was advised not to amend the agenda to add it that evening because that could create a further issue. So instead, the board opted to schedule a special meeting for Friday of that week, June 10th. The minutes were reviewed and they were provided to the requesting individual, who was Mr. Austin, that morning, Friday, June 10th. On, I believe, Wednesday, June 8th, a complaint was filed for a violation of the open meeting law. And I'll just summarize, but the complaint referenced that there were previous instances, I believe 2 instances, where minutes were requested and were not provided in a timely fashion. And I believe the complainant contends that this was a third violation and an intentional violation. Town council, I discussed with town council, and they have drafted for your review a response that it indicates the board feels that it acted in good faith in an effort to expedite the executive session minute review and to comply by posting the special meeting. That it was an administrative oversight not included on the agenda due to the staffing issue here at the town hall, namely my absence that week, that it was not intentional and that it attempted to comply with the request and in fact did so a few days later on July 10th. And so I'll stop there and leave it to the board to have discussion.
Anybody?
I read the response. It sounds reasonable and reasonable explanation as to what occurred and what action we've taken. So.
Okay, and there is a motion that was
We
included.
have 2 letters here. The 2023.
Yeah, so there was, I think, 2023 and 2024, or 2024, 2025, I'm not sure the exact years, where there were previous complaints, I think both from the same individual, with regard to executive session meeting minutes.
Right, it's,
Mr. Chairman, just hold on 1 second, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just curious, is this complainant, Mr. Austin, is it a connection to North Reading? How does someone from Texas take concern?
no, it used to be.
Yeah, no, Mr. Austin was I don't know if he still is or is not, but owned property on Main Street, was a resident, and was active with the discussion in relation to the sewer project.
Okay.
Has strong opinions, and he's an active member of the community, and both member of the community, and we appreciated his input, and he continues to maintain an interest in us.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, through you. This complaint is because we didn't respond to him in time, correct?
We responded in time, which was within 10 calendar days. The complaint is that the board did not review the minutes to see what they could provide in response to the request in time.
Okay,
Sorry, no, thank you.
go ahead. Okay. All right, yes, have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to authorize town council to issue the reviewed response to the July 8th, 2026 open meeting law complaint.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. O'Leary. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
We'll direct town council to issue the response both to the complainant and to the Division of Local Government in the Attorney General's office.
Okay, I think we're on to board member reports. So we'll combine board member reports and older new business. Why don't we start with Mr. Massey and work our way up?
Mr. Chairman, I have 1 item of serious business, 1 item of sentiment. I want to a dear friend of mine, Gail Manning, who probably many of you know, passed away the other day. Gail and I probably talk just about every week, phone, text, laughing about different things, and the last text she sent to me, I never responded, so it's sitting tough with me, but I will miss her, and my thoughts and prayers are with her family, and to the community. A lot of the seniors, she was certainly someone that always spoke for what she believed in. She was on the tax aid committee with you, Mr. Wallner, so you guys did some good work in that committee, but just a terrific person, someone always greeted with a smile and had that old school sense of humor that many of us can enjoy. So my thoughts and prayers are with her family. Second off, changing tunes a little bit. Mr. Chairman, talking about open meeting law complaints, as we just went over some here, I'd like to give the board a notice, advance notice, that I'll also be submitting my own open meeting law complaint to the state. Over the weekend, Select Board member O'Leary reached out and called me and mentioned that he's calling other Select Board members to get their opinion on an issue. He confirmed that here tonight. So I will be making an open meeting law complaint that is against open meeting to gauge different board members on an opinion before going into a meeting. So I know we all heard it. I asked a confirming question, so I just wanted to give you that heads up that will be on the agenda soon. And that's all I have today, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Vada?
Mr. Chairman, earlier this week, last week I should say, I was reading some local news, Greater Boston area news, and a little story here I just found curious, and it got me wondering if North Reading has ever partaken in something like this, maybe not on its own, but in cooperation with other local townships. And that's this: the city of Chelsea is forming a civic leadership academy, which just in a nutshell invites citizens to sign up and join, and over the course of a number of weeks they'll have a program which helps to educate and inform citizens of how their town and city's government works. And the idea being that instead of just having people always complaining online in comments back and forth about why does your town do this, why does the city do that, this and that, it educates them on how things actually work, and hopefully in the process, at least some will actually gain an interest in possibly volunteering or running for their local offices as well. So I won't go into the details here because I don't have a lot either, but I was just curious if this is something, it's just a thought. If this is something, I don't think North Reading probably we have the resources of the size to justify doing this by ourselves. But if this is something that's ever been done, if anyone's familiar with, or maybe partnering with some of our local towns, something, an initiative of that sort, because certainly we have a lot of people I know who ask questions on the socials and elsewhere. Why does North Reading do this? Why do the towns do that? Et cetera, et cetera. So,
If you could get more information about that, I'd be interested to look it over.
certainly. Thank you. That's all I had.
I mean, getting volunteers kind of geared up for what they're facing and how to be successful, learning the formalities. There's a lot of formalities that can get in the way of just trying to get things done. There's an education part of that we could do. I always thought we needed a volunteer committee, to be honest. We don't take enough time to honor the volunteers we even have. So making them more productive in what they're doing would be good for them and good for us. So yeah, so if you got more information, I'd like to read it over. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Moore?
Yes, I'd like to remind everybody that the National Night Out for 2026 is coming up. It's on Tuesday, August 4th. The rain date is August 11th. It's from 5 to 7:30 at Ipswich River Park. And it's a great event. There will be rescue law enforcement truck demos. The the chiefs typically read kids' books, which is great. There's face painting, there's youth activities, there's raffles, barbecue, there are resources for substance recovery, mental health, and community resources. And it's a great event. Last year, the select board had a table at the event, as well as several other committees, and I think, time permitting, if the members are available, we should do that again. So it's Tuesday, August 4th. If you can, please add it to your calendar, and do come to Ipswich River.
And I think there's always food being served as well.
Oh yes, the police department is grilling,
And it's good.
and it's good.
And it's good. Great. Okay, Mr. O'Leary?
Couple good notations as far as, people who passed between our two meetings. Again, Bob Frasciero, many people may know him, he's almost a 60-year resident of the town of North Reading, a former special police officer and a veteran, lived in the community up on Haverhill Street for, like I said, almost 60 years. Active member of the community, quietly active member of the community, but almost more importantly and legacy-wise, he was an advocate for people with disabilities and provided programming and housing for those people too. So Bob passed away at 86. His sister lived in town. His wife and daughter are still in the community. And again, I want to acknowledge Bob's presence in the community, his contributions to the community, and our condolences to his family, for sure. Again, Gail Manning. I was shocked and saddened to hear of Gail's passing. A vocal advocate within our community, for sure. And to Mr. Massey's point, always greeted me with a smile. Some of it, a real smile like, oh boy, I disagree with you. But again, always friendly, always open with her thoughts and remarks and what she thought, but also very receptive to what, other people were thinking and what they thought. May not agree with you, but she was not disagreeable at all. And for that, I appreciated it very much. And again, when I ran for re-election last time around, like I do when a lot of people go up and ask for support again, she gave me the grin and the smile, and she said, I don't always agree with you with things here, but I respect you, and that's great, and, put up a sign. And, it's those type of people that make this community work. You can have honest differences of opinion on different matters and still not be disagreeable and work to some solution. And again, her contributions, and again, a lot of her contributions were done after her retirement years, which was great. And again, working with you on the Taxation Aid Committee and working on that project over a several-year period to advocate, it panned out. And she partnered with people, and she listened, and she compromised, and she worked, and she didn't stop advocating. And she certainly was gifted as far as her letters to the editor. Again, while I might not have agreed with all of her positions on things, she clearly articulated what her positions were and what she thought and what she thinks what action should be taken, and shared that information not only with me personally, but with the board and with the public, and for that we're extremely grateful. And she is definitely going to be missed, and her presence it creates a void. And again, I was shocked and saddened with her passing. And again, condolences to her family, appreciation and acknowledgement for her contributions to our community, and she is still going to be sorely missed. Then as far as Hillview, again, is still moving forward now with the contract. The Ultra Chic, again, is going to be expiring in August. They're going to be proceeding with the demolition of the Hillview, probably somewhere around Labor Day, the last I heard, but it may change, the time schedule may have changed. In addition to that, they're looking for space to house the commission and Karen. They're going to be moving down to a facility at Ipswich River Park that comes under the enterprise, and be renovating it, just do some minor modifications to the building there, and that's where they'll be holding their meetings, and Karen will be located until the commission comes forward with a proposal to add on to the pro shop and build a new office for themselves and meeting space there, which will be forthcoming in the next year or so. But in the meantime, they'll be temporarily housed down at Central Street in Ipswich River Park. Other than that, we're all set, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I'll just, again, Gail Manning, she came here before she joined the Tax Aid Committee to complain about stuff we were doing and not doing. And so I remember saying to her, so why don't you come and join the Tax Aid Committee? I could really use your input. And it took her a little while, had to talk to her a few times, but she did come and join. And then she was a monster in that committee. She really did best practices. She really advocated for what she was looking for, and brought answers to us that we wouldn't have had probably in any other way. And so I give Gail a lot of credit for making that happen. I was glad to work with her during that. We worked very well together to make that happen. So Gail did a great job in that regard. So in her honor, the Circuit Breaker Match Program deadline is July 31st. So if you qualified for the Mass Circuit Breaker, then there's a good chance you would also qualify for a 50% Circuit Breaker Match Program. So please go to the assessor's office and apply, or go online and see what the application looks like. But we really want to see people take advantage of it. It's really reaching out to the people who are the most vulnerable, seniors who are most vulnerable in our community, who could use a little help with their property taxes to keep them in town, because keeping them in town is very important for all of us. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Okay, on to public comment. Just go right up there.
Just wanted to let everybody know the Wednesday barbecue put on by Parks and Recreation and Friends of Recreation is canceled this Wednesday because of inclement weather we believe is coming on, but it will partake on Thursday this week. So it'll be our last one, and hopefully anybody that's missed them would come, and we'd love to see them. And it's our final, so it'll be a big bang. And Patty Fillmore, who is our chief cook and bottle washer and does everything pretty much for that, will not be available that night. And I would just want to publicly thank Patty for everything she has done for Parks and Recreation and Friends of, especially in the barbecue. And
And her pulled pork sandwiches. Excellent.
they are.
We were there a couple of times ago, 400 people?
We had 600 in the first one.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's insane. And secondly, Maureen Stevens, who worked here, left retired maybe 6 years ago, 5 years ago, more, but still volunteering for the Parks and Rec, and she's like the organization person there, and can't thank her enough from Parks and Recreation and Friends of for all the work, and she's hung in there all this time, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Rita. Anybody online, Michael?
Anybody with public comment, we'd ask you to raise your hand if you're online. Okay, I'm not seeing any.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's move on to the Site Evaluation Committee.
Oh, this one I don't think came in.
Yeah, I got 8:35 this evening.
Sorry? I'm sorry.
We got in we got a citizen activity reform form from an interested party for the citizen position during the meeting tonight, so Ani is handing it out.
Thank you.
How about say that? Can you say that just up there?
How about the other interested parties that have submitted?
The ones I saw as of Thursday were in the packet. My understanding is that the staff added anything else that came in. If anyone is aware of somebody who applied and don't see the information there, I think certainly we should rectify that before we take votes. How many different forms ones did you get? Is this number 11? Okay. Mr. Massey, is there, I can't,
Your staff knows about it.
no, I would,
I'm not gonna call it out. Just, there's more applications and you're not listing all the candidates. I don't think that's fair.
well, we don't want to do anything that's unfair.
I would admire that of you.
The
So
idea
you
was to
have-
make sure that anyone who was interested got forwarded to the board. So if there's a name missing, and if you want to come over and tell me privately,
So this is 11?
it should be 11, yes.
So we have 9 people on the candidates here proposed. Where's number 10?
Is that motion updated to reflect what came in on Friday? Okay, yeah, but here's a new one. 10, and Ms. Mackey is 11. But again, if you know of somebody who was interested, let's just figure out who it was.
Are we counting 9 people on the motions here?
Are you looking in the packet that was?
Yes.
Okay, so Jack Carroll applied over the weekend, and he's on the motion that Charles is going to read for
Okay.
this evening.
Not in our packets.
He was not, no, he hadn't applied before then.
Okay.
He applied after.
And there was other candidates that had applied, but are now being recommended to represent another board, committee, commission, so they won't be on the citizen appointed ones. So before that, the committee met and made the recommendation, they submitted a form. But
What committee met and made what recommendation?
I forget which one it was.
Mr.
But,
O'Leary,
this
you just
is,
said a committee met and made a recommendation. What
A
committee?
A recommendation was made for, and it's in the motion, let's see, it's John Watson, Ellen Schrantz, Youth Services Committee representative, who were informed by the chair that Ellen Schrantz will be the representative of the Site Evaluation Committee. She had also submitted a citizen activity form, so she's excluded from the list down below because she's going to be the representative of the Youth Services Committee.
Isn't that for us to decide?
That's the recommended, the committee, excuse me, the board decided to have
What
representatives
board
from
decided?
this board
We did last time.
We
to
decided?
ask for a representative from each one of these boards or committees, and we're awaiting recommendations from the chair as to who the designee is going to be. Some of the committees have met, some of the big committees have decided and determined who those representatives are going to be, others have not met yet, or have not determined how they're going to make the representative appointment yet. So I would expect that the board would request the wishes of the appointing the chairs and the committees as to who they want their representative to be. We didn't designate who they're going to be. They're designating who's going to be their representative. We're designating who the citizen representative is going to be. Do you have a problem with the committees determining who the representative is going to be?
No.
Okay, good.
I didn't say that.
Great.
So how would we like to proceed?
So we wrote motions for the appointments for what we had on Thursday. Mr. O'Leary being the designee for the select board, Ms. Hartman being the designee as a public services director, the youth services director being Ms. Schrantz, Mr. Watson being the Veterans Events Committee. I'm informed this evening that the Recreation Committee met and Mr. Kern will be their recommended representative as well. Is that correct, Ms. Moen? So that should be added as a motion that we'll have to fabricate on the fly here this evening. And then you have a motion in the packet. It had 8 names listed. We got 2 more names, Jack Carroll and Lisa Mackey, that are in the motion that Mr. Tyler will be asked to read for the resident position. So I would leave the residents to last,
Yeah.
and I would take the other committee appointments because they're very specific slots. There's a couple of others that have not been made. We're awaiting the Council on Aging recommendation, I believe, at this point in time as well. So that this, we won't be able to get all the way through the appointments, but there are some that we can do to get the committee up and running at least.
Okay, so let's start with the Site Evaluation Committee, Mr. Chairman. I move to appoint Mr. O'Leary.
So
The first one?
Yep, I would start with the first.
Yeah, let's start with that. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Mr. O'Leary as the Select Board Representative on the Site Evaluation Committee for a term to expire December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Ms. Moran. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, it's typical select board practice to list candidates. There's no candidates, it's just Steve O'Leary. So I'm just wondering how this came about. I think earlier you mentioned you were going to appoint him as the chairman. I'm just wondering how this, why do other board members not get an opportunity to be nominated?
It's not that they don't have an opportunity, I'm just taking advantage of the experience that Mr. O'Leary brings to the table on something that
So I
we
had the
are.
opportunity to be nominated? Where am I? I thought you said everyone had the opportunity.
That's not the question. The answer is that I'm picking somebody who is in the best position in order to be able to get this done, because they have the most experience in getting it done.
And generally, the chair makes the liaison appointments. But as a voting member, the board appoints the vote, authorizes to be the voting member. Chair makes the liaison assignments. If you're going to be a voting member, just like you on the Taxation Aid Committee, just like you on the Fire Station Building Committee, the board as a whole appoints them. But the chair designates who the liaison's going to be, the board ratifies it. No different than Fire Station Building Committee
feel
or
like
Taxation Aid.
you had the opportunity. I mean,
Right.
no one else was called or anything to be on it. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
No, they have to,
Okay, let's read the motion.
It's been read.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Any
for a
further-
term to expire December 31st, 2026.
That was my request.
Can all this-
Because I believe this committee is going to be short-term, and once a site is selected, if and when a site is selected and town meeting takes appropriate action, there'll be a building committee to move forward.
For 3 Washington Street? We're talking about 3 what?
3 Washington Street or any other site, that's it. In other words, this was put together based upon an opportunity that was presented to the town and to the board, and the board embraced, the majority of the board embraced, to appoint a site review committee for 3 Washington Street, and it says also any other sites if that one's not gonna be acceptable, to present for something at an October town meeting. We need to make quick determination on 3 Washington Street, whether we wanna move forward or not. The town has the right of first refusal, the property is gonna be going on the market. It's wonderful that the owner has
All right.
offered to not put it on the market until the town makes a determination. We have an obligation to make a determination whether we're gonna move forward or not, and that's what this review committee will do. So
All right,
for me,
Steve.
it's a short-term committee for the specific purposes that have been stated here. And then after that,
But you just said any other building.
any other site,
No, okay.
any other
I thought-
site. any
I
other
thought it was
site.
a fast track to 3 Washington.
Fast track on
but
3 Washington
not-
Street to
let's
make a
not- Apparently-
determination.
Let's not talk over each other. One at a time.
So again, 3 Washington Street is the focus, and then a determination will be made as far as 3 Washington Street, moving forward with a recommendation to the board or not. And then the board will have to decide whether or not they accept the recommendation of this committee
I don't
or
know.
not. So,
Yep.
anyway, the motion is just for the appointment. It's not as far as the merits of the committee have already been determined, and the board's taken a vote. So I
So
requested.
Shutnik off.
Well,
Shutnik
no,
off.
this is subject, the motion before us is on the appointment. It's
Please,
not
Rich.
on the rationale or the need or the determination of a committee being formed. That was already made. That was made at the last meeting. That discussion took place. What's taking place now is the appointments. I asked for the appointment to be short.
All right, Steve.
Okay. Rita, please, not long, okay?
On the appointment.
Keep it concise, okay?
Sure.
As much as you can, thank you.
Excuse me, this is on the appointments. We generally don't have input on,
I'm just, in this case.
Just let the chair do what he wants, Steve.
you know, generally, this is deliberation
I
on the
understand.
motion
I
before us.
understand. I understand.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little liberal on this, but be concise, okay?
Thank you, sure. Yeah, when I saw this and we read it last week, I didn't say anything because I wanted to, just kind of, it shocked me that we had recommended before, not that it matters, but the exit interview committee had made a motion a while ago for just our committee, that we don't think that it's hard for a select person to come on and be chair of this committee that we waited 9 months for, I think. And the same for the public service director. And the reason I'm saying it is they're going to serve on a committee that we've got some employees that are on it and 2 other people from the town. And to me, when you're working on what we had talked about at the last meeting, it was there would be a committee put together by having those 2 people on it that basically are in an authority position. It's going to be almost, I think, one part of it was already a conflict of interest that last week, whichever select person you picked, so not necessarily Mr. O'Leary, but whoever you picked already had made up a mission statement that looks completely different than the mission statement that we had back in October, that we waited 9 months for. And when it first came out, to basically say, so it's kind of a bias on that person already, that committee already, that's going to come in with the new, not only just appointments, but the new mission that is automatically going after, talking about 3 Washington Street, and basically saying that's more important. If this committee's formed, their job right away is to say, let's work on this. It's taken a lot of time to work on this when you have other sites in town that the town has been asking, let's look at town-owned property and other property that may come along. And truthfully, there are 2 parcels, 235 North Street and 1 Central Street, and possibly if we looked at 5, that we've been asking for a long, long time to get a feasibility study. And it just seems, again, like a biased opinion. And if they're going to be on the committee voting member, if they were liaison, that's great. But being a voting member, they kind of can direct the other people that are under them to kind of think the way they do. Otherwise, when they come back the next day, it's kind of hard to have somebody on a committee at that night that's working with 11 other people that kind of has control over those other employees, and the next day comes back to work. And I'm just saying it's a perceived notice of a conflict of interest, I think, but it's also a perceived and uncomfortable situation for those other people to be on it, that, again, intentional or not intentional, that you're the boss during the day, and at night you're on a committee, but you're being kind of basically afraid to come out. You know, there are a lot of people that will not come out and speak up to somebody else with the worry that there may be issues involved the next day. And I think it's for the members of the committee, new committee, and I think for just those 2 positions, why put anybody in that situation?
Yeah, it's, I'll just come back. Bringing up 1 Central, it's a $30 million project.
No, but that's what I'm saying. There's already a bias coming in that you don't know that, as we haven't had a feasibility study.
No, there is a feasibility study, has been done at $30 million. We just,
when did we hear that?
Catherine just shared that information with us, what the estimates were for creating an intergenerational community center, which would be, would meet the specs and would do everything we're looking for.
By a feasibility study?
I don't have any belief that the town's going to come up with $30 million to make this happen.
But again, it's a select person telling the committee, I haven't heard any of those numbers before, but, I also do have a quote.
These are very important numbers, because
But I said, I guess,
Just for some clarification.
just before we start, to me, the delta is this: it's $10 million if you put it in Washington Street overall, and you're going to get 85% of what you're looking for, or it's $30 million if you go for 1 Central. There's a huge difference, and our ability to...
I've been saying, is there a feasibility study that's been done, because those numbers haven't been shared with anyone
No,
else?
those are numbers that are public.
They're from the facilities master plan. That
Yeah,
was the
but-
estimate they.
But that was an estimate that they threw out, and doesn't necessarily mean it's a
Okay,
a
so
real
I have
number.
to stop the comment,
Okay,
because I was being liberal in doing it, so...
Just to allay anybody's concerns in relation to, no matter whom the representative is, the liaison of this committee is, or from the select board, Community Planning Commission, separately elected body, Council on Aging, Land Utilization Committee, Youth Services Committee, Council on Aging, Parks and Recreation, are all appointed by the town administrator, not the select board. No oversight. Town administrator.
TBC.
So we have Veteran Services Committee, which is the Veterans Event Committee, is appointed by this board. And what we ask is the Veterans Event Committee to put forth a name for for us to appoint, which they have done. So again, there's no pressure, there's no conflict, there's no pressure here, and there isn't any direct
Of course.
oversight. And again, any employee who might be involved, who would be the Director of Council on Aging or Director of Public Services, does not answer to the board. They answer to the town administrator.
Well,
And
no,
it's designed that way
I'm saying two
specifically.
positions. I'm saying two positions, the select.
So again, to allay anybody's concerns, regardless of who the liaison is here, and again, it's not unprecedented.
Liaison's a
It's
voting
not-
member,
It's
though,
not
right?
unprecedented for a member of the board to be a liaison to boards, committees, and commissions. Happens all the time.
No, it's a voting member though, right?
It's Economic Development Committee, Capital Improvement Committee, Secondary School Building Committee, Fire Station Building Committee, Taxation Aid Committee, Police Station Building Committee, and that's just, it's off the top of my head as the meeting's going on, because I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it. And you've been around as long as I have, and even longer sometimes. You know that this is what happens.
No,
The members of the board have been liaison assignments that are voting members,
Okay, but
all the
But
time,
as the chair,
and continuing.
0.
but just, I'm
As
saying,
the
just-
chair,
So,
0.
anyway,
Excuse me,
0.
you're talking about.
so just to allay people's concerns, and again, there's no preconceived notion on my part.
well, but there
as
is,
to-
and there-
Excuse me, there's no preconceived notion on my part, other than it should be considered, and it should be considered quickly as a courtesy to the property owner who's offering it to the town on a right of first refusal before they put it on the market. I believe we should take advantage of that. As far as determine whether it's feasible or not, that will be determined shortly.
but shouldn't the, yeah,
Which is what the charge of the committee is to determine that appropriateness of it in quick, short order as a courtesy to the owner of the property, and again, whether we're gonna have an interest in buying it or not. If not, we're gonna tell them no and thank you very much, we appreciate it, and move on. And again, if you looked at what was voted last week by this
I
board,
heard it.
okay, make the recommendations and all that. And again, long-term responsibilities. To evaluate alternative sites for future
I read
senior
it.
center intergeneration should 3 Washington Street be determined unsuitable, or should the town decline to approve the proposed acquisition rehabilitation?
The-
So we put this one up front because it was put in front of us as an opportunity that we believe that we should be taking advantage of and taking a good, strong look at. That's it. But there is no preconceived notions on my part. And for you to put that on me is unfair.
I
It's
didn't
not
put it
true.
on you, I said whoever
So-
the select person is. But-
Anyway, the select board determined that it was important to do
That
the
mission,
feasibility, the suitability of this site. Yes or no? The answer was yes, and that's what we're proceeding to do, and it's moving the issue forward, which is what all of us want to do. We want to move this issue forward. And we're going to evaluate 3 Washington Street, determine if it's suitable or unsuitable, and then if it's unsuitable, we're going to move forward on something else. And
The-
included in that discussion will be other alternative sites that have been discussed over the years.
the
but
mission
3 Washington
the mission statement, if you look at this one here in the October one, and what was stated at town meeting in October, a committee would be chosen. 9 months later, it wasn't, but at the town meeting in October, it was, questions were asked at that, and if you read the October one to the new one that you put out, we were supposed to, if we had that money and we went to the meeting, you're already telling the committee, not you, I'm saying a select person, whoever was going to chair it, is already telling this new committee, your charge is different than what we spoke about in October. The citizens decided, not the selectmen, the citizens decided to vote at that meeting. That sounds great. Can we ask who's going to take part in this meeting and what they were going to do? And I'm saying all of a sudden, the first 4 lines of this is saying, let's talk about it, whether the person is, calling us first and saying, we want you to help. That meant that if you formed the committee tonight, the first meeting of the committee could have been after they elect a chairperson, but it's already elected, and after they looked at the other sites that we had, and we're going to start to look at it, you or somebody else is going to say, but we're going to deal with this first because that's the mission. That was not what we discussed in October and told people how it worked. That's all I'm saying.
I would
That we can
suggest-
change midstream.
I would suggest, as I have done, go back and review on NORCAM, the recording of the town meeting in October,
Right?
as to what was done, what was said, and what was presented. And it's not exactly as you're presenting it. That is not true.
I asked
So I would
questions
suggest-
at that meeting. I didn't know what
You
I
may have asked
asked.
the questions, but what was presented to the public, what they voted on, they appropriated some money for the purpose of finding some sites here. That's what they appropriated the money. That's what they were asked to do. The board within its purview can appoint a board committee commission. It did not determine who was gonna be on the board, who was
Correct.
gonna be making it up. That's up to this board to do. And that's what they're doing. That's what we're doing. So,
Well,
and
the-
again,
okay, the
what town meeting
assumption-
was asked for was to appropriate some money for a specific
was-
purpose to do that. And if you go back and review the NORCAM report, you'll
Okay.
find
It-
what you're saying
it-
is not
If you,
entirely
if you
true.
go back
But
and
in
listen to the
meantime,
telephone
Jim,
conversations that we had, and I will not, we had, that at that meeting, everybody will have a meeting in 9 months. We're going to, after this, we're going to pick a committee. The committee is all going to discuss what happens, and normally, because they're not making any decision other than making recommendations to this committee, it's hard for a select person to not be biased coming on, just what you're telling me now. This is the first 4 things we're gonna look at, because you made up a mission statement, not you, the committee made up a mission statement that said this is how we're gonna follow it. It is not how it was described or discussed at that last meeting, what would happen. And if the phone conversation that I had with somebody else, they want to deny that happened, that's okay. I'm not gonna,
And
I'm
again,
not gonna call out any
it was
names on
not
it.
specified
All
at
the
town
time he
meeting
does it.
which, when, or where, and what methodology the board was going to determine who was going to look at which ones, first, second, third, or 23rd. That was not
Okay.
determined.
Well, when
There
you,
was an appropriated amount of money to look at the sites, once the committee was formed, and the board decides what's the mission here.
when you come out with, when they talked about the $30 million, and we're going by what they said in that facilities master plan, they also said, we're gonna spend $25 million, or whatever it would cost, to do the fire station at the same location. That changed, that we are not looking to spend that much money. So we cannot keep saying everything that was what HKT or Abacus did in that, that written article was what everybody agreed on and at that time. So I'm saying to take a number and say, that's what it's gonna cost to do it. I have quotes from the people that did the Wilmington sites, and for $30,000, they can do feasibility on 2 sites and tell you if they think it's not. Where the town has been asking, use town-owned land first, and I'm not saying has to if it's not the best price, but to say we can get 80% out of that particular building of what the seniors asked for and needed. Part of the intergenerational center was part of that also. So this group of selectmen are already saying that it should be a senior center we're looking at and not an intergenerational center. So,
That is not necessarily the
That's-
case,
Well-
and that's not what the mission statement
Okay,
says.
we need to stop.
okay, no,
Please
thank
stop.
you, I
Thank
appreciate
you.
the time, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
in an effort to moderate, and I sort of agree with her that a select board member should not be, I mean, they can be a voting member, I don't care, but as the chairman, I think that's a little crooked. And,
Crooked?
that's right, I do. And so, in an effort to moderate that, my recommendation to you is, I'd be happy to vote for Mr. O'Leary as a liaison. But, and I don't mind as a voting member either, but as the chairman, I think it comes off a little bit of power arming, a little bit of force of hand.
Okay.
And there has been no committee that has a chairwoman or a chairman that has not been elected by its body or chosen by its body. You are over-authorizing by
I'm giving you an
choosing a
opportunity
chairman.
tonight. I'm giving you an opportunity tonight. If you want to put your name in, go for it through a motion.
Wait, we just talked about this. We went over earlier. I don't have the opportunity. I'm not looking for the opportunity to be a chairman, Mr. Chairman. I'm asking
Yes.
that the select board representative be a liaison, and let the committee, every first meeting of every committee picks their chairman. This one, no, Mr. Wallner's gonna
Mr. Chairman,
power of hand.
I have to just add that the charge for the committee did not specify that a select board member would be the chair. And implied in that is that the committee itself will choose who its chair is. What was implied when the committee charge was approved last week, you indicated that you thought it should be Mr. O'Leary who served on the committee. That's what led us to prepare a motion, like we do for any other liaison assignment, that named Mr. O'Leary in the motion. I think that we should follow our practice and let the committee decide who its chair is, as it normally would do. It's not specified in the motion as to who the chair would be. And if anybody wants to offer any other motion about some other member of the board serving in a seat, they certainly could do that. So I wish I explained that earlier, maybe it would have helped,
Okay.
but
All right, we can go the way it is. Mr. O'Leary, you okay with that?
Me, I'm fine with anything. I just want to get this, you know, I
Just wanna
just
get
want to
some-
get this thing moving and
I
moving
know.
forward, plain
God
and
bless
simple.
you for turning
So it's
around
a-
a recommendation in a month and a half for
What is
town
that?
meeting. A $6 million, $6 million investment by the town, you're gonna be able to turn that charge around in a month and a half. I
$6
wish
million
you
charge?
all the luck in the
What's
world,
$6 million
that you'll
charge?
have all the knowledge on the property to make a
What-
$6 million investment.
Good, okay.
Wait.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Nay,
Opposed?
nay.
Okay.
Next one?
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Lillian Hartman in her capacity as Public Services Director to the Site Evaluation Committee for a term to expire December 31st, 2026.
Second?
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. O'Leary. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay. Mr. Chairman, I've tapped into a lot of my constituency here around town, so that is the reason behind my nay.
I don't know what you said. Okay, move on to the next one, please.
Do you want me to repeat it?
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Ellen Scrantz as the Youth Services, excuse me? I beg your pardon, Mr. Chairman. I move to appoint Ellen Schrantz as the Youth Services Committee Representative on the Site Evaluation Committee for a term to expire December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Ms. Moran. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint John Watson as the Veterans Events Committee Representative on the Site Evaluation Committee for a term to expire December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. Massey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
And, Mr. Chairman, before we move on to a discussion of the interested citizens,
Yep.
we have one more recommendation that came in this evening, and that was for Ron Kern to be the representative of the Parks and Recreation Committee, and that would be for a term to expire December 31st, 2026.
Okay, so I'm going to, to the liaison, I'm going to defer to him. Are you prepared with those names to pick who you want to have on the committee? Or do you want to?
No, that's fine with Ron Kern. No, it's up to the
Ron Kern would
board.
be
It's up to the board as far as I'm
But you're
concerned.
gonna
But as far as,
allow
no, this is.
But
this-
recommendation,
this
I'm
is-
going by his
No, this is for his
But he can make a
recreation.
This is
recommendation.
not how this works.
Of course he can. He
Just
can
gonna
make-
look to Steve and say, who do you want?
He's making, tell me he has to make a recommendation.
Mr. Chairman.
Liaisons make recommendations.
Mr. Chairman,
For all these citizens?
Mr. Chairman. First
I'm
of all,
I'm sorry.
I move
I was
to-
just
I
having a
move to
conversation.
I move to appoint Ron Kern as the Recreation Committee
This board
representative
sucks.
of the Site Evaluation Committee.
Okay, that's, so,
That's a motion.
motion, okay. Second on that?
Second.
Okay. So, motion by Mr. O'Leary, second by Ms. Moran. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Now go to the individuals.
So now the individual, Mr. Chairman, I am not going to be making a recommendation. These are all wonderful candidates who have all stepped forward along with Mr. Carroll and Mrs. Mackey, at 35 this evening, sent her application in also. Again, they would all serve well. I think many of us know some of these individuals as to what they bring to the table and what they're offering, and we all have their citizens' activity forms, and again, I'm not necessarily going to be making a recommendation, because I think all of them are worthy and are all intent on working and moving this project of getting a new senior center, so with the generational center moving forward, so I look forward to serving you with whomever the majority of this board determines on a roll call vote.
But as liaison, you don't have a recommendation.
No, I'm not going to be making a recommendation on these individuals. I think each one of us individually should be making our own determinations. Again, I think each member of the board should be making their own individual choices on the citizen recommendations at this particular point in time on this particular committee. I know who I'm going to be voting for, but
Okay.
I don't
Mr.
necessarily want
Chairman.
that to influence.
Can we just put them all in?
All the names will be put in anyway.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm sorry, Mr. Lee, I'm talking,
But
Mr.
that's how it is. They're
Mr.
put in.
Chairman.
Hold on, please. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, why can't we put all of these people on the committee?
It'd just be a question of just, would it get out of control if we
Yeah.
did?
To be-
We don't usually do
What gets
that.
out of control? Do you have an example?
Mr. Chairman, the
Rich,
problem
I'm
is-
asking you a question.
These are not,
We are,
you ask questions that are not like conversation questions or informative. You ask questions that are challenges. Do you have an example? Do you have any evidence? Do you have anything to prove to me what you're saying?
Mr. Wallner, I'm
This is
asking-
not how you deliberate. This is not how you deliberate. First of all, you do it respectfully.
Okay, I am.
And so you ask respectfully.
I am.
I'm just wondering, is there any other
Mr.
examples?
Chairman, again, why can we not, this is not challenging, this is not a hard one, this is a layup. Why can we not put all these people on?
You could, and I'm not against it, but on the other hand, it could make the committee out of control. I'm very concerned that the committee has a way to get the work done that they need to get done in a very short amount of time. And you can't have 20 people in a room being focused on something that they need to be focused on.
It gets more eyes and ears on it, it gets more
I
opinions
like
on
that part of it. I do like that part of it, but I'm also really concerned that the committee has its ability to be able to get things done in an efficient manner as fast as possible.
Constantly, these committees here in town are 5, 7. There is nothing that stops us from making it bigger. And it's the same people on every committee. These are all new names. This is
I
great.
agree. It's nice to see some new names.
So let's put them on. I mean, let's get their feet wet,
I'm
you
not,
know?
I guess that can be your recommendation.
That is my
Mr. Chairman, right now, as constituted from our last board meeting, this committee would be 11 members. You're going to be expanding it to almost 20 members. It presents a problem as far as meeting, getting quorums, and getting enough of the people here. If you're looking to put everybody on here, you know, the ability to make the time to be there and get a quorum. It gets to a point where the size gets a little unruly. 11 is a lot to begin with. To go to almost 20 people or more is even more difficult to acquire a quorum and get a consensus as to when we're going to be able to meet, how we're going to meet. And so I think the 11 is the appropriate number, as
Per total.
suggested. Yeah, for the total, for now, sure. And again, yeah.
So if it's 11, how many
The
people can we
two,
pick from here?
the two residents, as we had,
Out of 11
Suggested.
volunteers. That's so sad.
They could always be associates. They can also attend meetings.
That's so sad. You guys put the same people up, these small committees. Steve, I'll have to
Same
buy
people?
you a
What
cup
same
of coffee to
people?
get you to agree with me on anything nowadays. I mean,
Okay. Again, not the way we deliberate. Okay, so we're gonna, we'll do this at the next meeting. It's in August, right?
to what at the next meeting? Appoint the two?
Yeah.
Oh, you can appoint, you have, what, 10 names tonight?
Do you want to do it now?
we have
Yeah,
11.
yeah.
We have 11 names.
I wasn't prepared to like pick the names.
That's what's on the
Then that just
motions, Rich.
further delays the ability of the committee to come together.
I agree, but I thought the liaison was going to make the
Again,
recommendation.
I'm going to be, I'll tell you who I'm voting for if that influences things, but again, I'm not looking to influence anybody's decision. I'll be voting for Mr. Gannon and Mr. Lee.
Mr. Chair, but not every person on this list is a member of a committee, so there is no liaison to make a recommendation.
No, he's the
No,
liaison.
I'm the
He's the
liaison to
liaison.
this
He
committee,
just
so he's
made a
asking for a
liaison.
liaison recommendation.
Correct. So you want the liaison to interview all these members first?
If you want to call on me first, I mean, if you're going to call for a vote, you list all the names and everybody gets nominated, and then
Well,
the
Mrs.
top two
Marin
vote
was just-
getters get a point.
Mrs. Marin was just asking a question. I'd like to hear the answer.
What was, I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Are you, Mr. Chair, are you asking the liaison to interview all these candidates and then make his recommendation, or?
I'm asking him to do what any liaison would do, which is you would know who all the candidates are. And with the chair, which we don't have a chair, but if you had a chair, you would be deciding who would, and if there are people that continued and had already been doing it, they get the first nod, if you will. But in this case, it's all fresh people. So I want to be very respectful of the committee to bring in people that are going to complement it and help it get the job done. And I haven't studied it because I thought that literally we were going to, I was counting on the liaison.
There are 3 people on this list that I don't know personally and that I don't know of. Everybody else I'm familiar with, and all of them are quite capable of serving the community well.
Mr. Chairman.
And what was submitted by the other 3, tremendous backgrounds, willingness to serve, worthy of consideration. Again, there isn't anybody that are gonna, again, if I only have 2 votes, which is what we have right now, is 2 votes, I know who I'm voting for. But,
Okay, thank you.
so,
Yes.
but again, each of
Mr.
us
Chairman.
individually have a responsibility to put a couple people on here. And, if you're looking for who am I voting for,
Okay, we'll find out what you're voting for. We get it. You want to say it. Mr. Chairman, per our policies, and I'd say point of order at this point, is it requires a liaison to call all these individuals, as all of us have to. So to Mrs. Maroon's point,
suggested.
I'm sorry. You do that to
I
me.
apologize.
Can he stop?
Yeah, the liaison has a role in helping pick who's on committees.
It is on our policies. It is required to call every single person. Has our liaison done that? I'd imagine no. Actually, I don't know.
Mr. Chairman?
So then I would imagine that would happen first before recommendations?
Good question.
I wasn't appointed until this evening.
Okay, so that means that we're not ready to make these nominations?
Like everybody else is being appointed this evening.
So you can step out and make some calls, or we can
Again.
go to the next meeting.
All right, stop. We're going to put this off for 2 weeks, and all of us can take a look at who's on here, and it doesn't need to stop the committee. You can still get the
No, we should have a quorum.
It's
So,
our policy.
What's that?
It's our policy.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm respecting that. So he has 2 weeks.
So
to
we
come back.
don't, he interviews.
But we need to study up with who's on this. This is a new committee. We need to.
So
think-
everyone's gonna call him?
No. He's going to call. But I think we should be looking at the bios of everybody who's appointed and also have a flavor for who we're interested in.
Half these people didn't even put site evaluation committee on their citizen activity form. I don't even know how they got on here.
I believe they did.
So you're right, I did see some missing. I did see some.
Just saying, a lot of
Yeah,
process.
Annie's talking, yeah.
Okay, so let me explain. This citizens activity
You have
form.
to get right in the microphone.
Okay,
so-
sorry.
Yeah.
So how we get these forms, right? How we get these responses? So we receive the citizens activity form, okay? So when this committee, we have it, the select board has been decided about this committee. So the CAF page, they doesn't have this committee name included over there, okay? So this came as a blank, but some comments say in their comment box, it's site evaluation committee. Now, who didn't mention, I and Ms. McNeil called them personally to verify which committee they are looking for or they are interested in. And they mentioned they are interested in particularly for site evaluation committee,
So
okay?
these people have all indicated.
Yes,
they're interested.
yes.
One way or another. they're
Yes,
interested in
yes,
this evaluation.
yes, correct,
Good.
yes.
Good. Thank you. All right, put this off for 2 weeks, and then we'll have a chance to look it over and make a recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, through you, I would suggest if we are going to do that, we set a deadline. So, we
I
may say,
think tonight's the deadline, frankly, yeah. I mean, this last minute stuff, we can't handle. It's been out there enough. This
Tonight's
is
the
it.
deadline for what?
for candidates, so we don't have this
Yeah, we can't have last minute.
applications coming in, no one having the opportunity to reach out to them.
Right. The clock
So-
starts now.
I
We
agree,
did-
but everyone's gonna get called, right?
I'll defer to the board on that.
Contact, yeah, we'll be contacted. Okay, Mr. O'Leary?
Just to inform Mr. Massey, it's each and every one of us individuals' responsibility to know who's coming forward. Yes, we rely on liaison contacts generally because of the relationship with the ongoing boards, committees, and commissions. This is new. But that being said, I know that when I make appointments, vote on appointments, even though I'm not liaison, I reach out to candidates and new people And
Even
if
when,
you're-
even when you're not the liaison?
Even when I'm not the liaison.
Wow.
Why not? Because
Wow,
my-
that's new news.
What, new news to who?
Wow.
Not to the
You
people that have
do it
applied.
all. You do it
I
all.
do my job.
No,
That's
you,
all.
that's not your job.
It is my job.
That's not your job.
Again,
It is
No,
ours.
no,
So I would
Mr.
suggest-
Chairman,
so I would
if you're gonna
suggest-
allow him to say something, you gotta at
Yeah, but
least
you're
allow.
interrupt- you're
me to say
interrupting
something.
me.
When he stops, you can talk.
But he never
So-
stops, so when do you ever stop? I mean, it's unbelievable.
Again, the mumbling doesn't do any good.
That's
So,
okay.
again, it's all of our responsibilities to know who's applying for things. And again, at times I find it necessary, myself personally, to call and reach out if somebody I don't know and introduce myself, talk to them a little bit. What's your interest? How come? Why? Whether I'm a liaison or not. Because I have one vote just like any other member of the committee here. And my vote is a reflection, who I vote for, to put on is a reflection on me. So that's all.
Mr.
So I would
Chairman,
just suggest
he
that
hasn't
we
been
let that-
following select board policies for 30 years.
That's
He's
not
not gonna
true.
now, it doesn't
And again,
matter.
you wouldn't know, you know?
You have
Doesn't
no
matter.
idea what you're
You've
talking
been
about.
2 years here.
Yeah, you
You
do.
have no idea.
You can't talk
And
about
again,
something happened 30
I've been,
years ago. Yeah, just stop. It's, no,
Yeah.
this conversation's good.
and again, when you get yourself reelected
Okay, let's just,
dozens and dozens of times, you know, instead of just once,
okay, see, please,
it'll be a reflection on your service.
please.
Good for you.
Good for you, Steve. No kings.
Okay, all right, let's move on.
Mr. Chairman, through you, I can see that the proposal from Town Council for reappointment was not included in the packet, so I'm going to recommend that we pass that over and take it up on August 3rd.
Okay?
Next agenda item is the meeting minutes for the June 25th, 2026 meeting, and I'm reviewing the,
What happened at town council?
I'm sorry?
What happened at town council?
I just suggested we pass it over because I see that the proposal for reappointment was not in the packet. So we'll make sure it's submitted for August 3rd.
Okay.
Are we soliciting other?
I am not, no. I'm happy to do so if the board wishes to so direct, but I did not intend to.
Okay, so we're moving on to meeting minutes, right?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, there's an agenda item. I just mentioned something.
What did you say? I didn't hear it.
Town council?
You said you don't have it in the packet, right?
Yeah, I'm
I
asking.
did, and I suggested it be passed over.
Okay, so is that a problem?
No, I'm just wondering for next meeting, because now's the only opportunity, right?
No.
I can bring this up. Now would be the only opportunity.
It's for you to bring up what?
If town council, are we soliciting other firms?
My recommendation is not to.
That's not, well, I'm asking the
That's
chairman.
the answer.
That's not the answer. Mr. Chairman, I asked you. We direct the town
I think
administrator.
We did this last year, and we talked about this. This is the second,
No, we did this 2 years ago.
No, 2 years ago then. It just blends. But we talked about this, and we did evaluate KP Law as being the best town council for us, largely because they represent, I think it's over 100 communities in Massachusetts, something like that.
So
Their
just
prices-
curious.
Well, I'm talking. And they're affordable, and they've been responsive to our needs. They've always been responsive to everything we've been doing. And when we looked at other suppliers, we're not happy with those choices. So I think KP Law is still the way to go, and I agree with Michael's recommendation that we not go evaluate.
Okay, so you just mentioned we had other suppliers. What other vendors have you seen proposals from that I haven't seen?
I don't even see the proposals that come to the town administrator.
Oh, you just
all
mentioned
we
that
see-
you've
all
seen,
we see is
you've
the-
evaluated. I'm asking you.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr.
Yep.
Chairman, I'm asking you, please.
Mr.
Cover each other. Go ahead.
I just want to clarify, because it's being stated that I sought proposals. I did not 2 years ago.
I agree.
I checked from other cities and towns what they were paying per hour and what their budgets were for it, and I provided the information to the board at the time that I recommended KP Law be reappointed as town council.
And has anything changed your mind going
No.
forward? Okay. Let's move on. Meeting minutes, please.
Mr. Chairman, before you are the minutes for June 25th. As I had indicated at the last meeting, there were some comments that were offered with regard to what was said in the June 25th, 2026 meeting in public session. I suspect they were misdirected and were actually referring to comments that I somewhat recall hearing at the previous June meeting, which would have been trying to do the math now, the 15th, I guess. But I don't believe they were made that evening. Unfortunately, as some of you know, we had an issue where we neglected to resume recording the open session portion of the meeting, so I don't have a recording to go back to look at with regard to it. I definitely remember the discussion about the fee structure, and there were comments made about it not being the $520 that was recommended, but instead being approved at a larger amount of money, but that all occurred at the hearing for the trash fee on June 15th, not the 25th. So the comments were included in red with some comments I added in blue, but they're all also struck through because I don't believe they occurred that night. I believe they occurred on June 15th. You already approved the June 15th meetings at the last meeting on July 6th.
Okay, so meeting minutes, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to reopen June 15th meeting minutes for approval to include these edits. As it was a mistake, I included these in the wrong meeting.
Okay, that's a motion, I guess. Anybody second it? No?
No one seconds it.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay,
Classic. Classic select board.
please.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the regular session minutes for the June 25th, 2026 meeting.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. O'Leary. Any further discussion?
Just one comment. I want to again thank our staff, Arnie and Jen, and the town administration for a review for all the minutes that get processed and put forward for our consideration for approval. I think they do an excellent job in providing a synopsis as to what occurred at the meeting and are accurate, and appreciate their efforts very much.
Nice job, Steve.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
Mr. O'Leary.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the regular session minutes for the July 6, 2026 meeting.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Tyler, motion second by Mr. O'Leary. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Charles was supposed to read the acknowledgement.
Yes, unfortunately, Mr. Tyler, our obligation is actually to read the acknowledgement that follows the minutes that were approved. So I know it's a very lengthy list, but we've been advised by town council that after the board reviews and takes action on executive session meeting minutes, that it not only post, but that it read the list of actions, which is what follows. There's, as you know, the three categories for acknowledgement: for release with redactions, and then to withhold.
If you want somebody to jump in and do a part of it for you, I'd be happy to volunteer.
There, all the way to the end.
Going to make an actual motion.
No, you don't.
Acknowledgement of review and release. The following executive session minutes dated as the purposes of the executive session have expired. February 23rd, 2025, exemption 7, meeting minutes.
February 3rd, right?
What did I say?
23rd, okay. I'm sorry, February 3rd, okay.
February 3rd, 2025, exemption 7, meeting minutes. February 3rd, 2025, exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. February 25th, 2025, exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. February 25th, 2025, exemption 7, meeting minutes. March 3rd, 2025, exemption 7, meeting minutes. March 3rd, 2025, exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. June 2nd, 2025, exemption 3, collective bargaining, library union. June 2nd, 2025, exemption 3, collective bargaining, fire union. June 2nd, 2025, exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. June 2nd, 2025, Exemption 7, meeting minutes. November 17th, 2025, Exemption 3, litigation, Republic Services. November 17th, 2025, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. November 17th, 2025, Exemption 7, meeting minutes. December 8th, 2025, Exemption 3, collective bargaining, police superior officers. December 8th, 2025, Exemption 3, collective bargaining, police patrol sergeants union. December 8th, 2025, Exemption 3, litigation, Republic Services. December 8th, 2025, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. December 22nd, 2025, Exemption 6, real property, 9 Mill Street. December 22nd, 2025, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. January 12th, 2026, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. January 12th, 2026, Exemption 7, meeting minutes. February 9th, 2026, Exemption 3, collective bargaining, DPW union. February 9th, 2026, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. February 9th, 2026, Exemption 7, meeting minutes. March 2nd, 2026, Exemption 3, litigation, Republic Services. March 2nd, 2026, Exemption 7, meeting minutes. March 16th, 2026, Exemption 3, litigation, opioid. March 16th, 2026, Exemption 3, collective bargaining, police patrol sergeants union. March 16th, 2026, Exemption 3, collective bargaining, health insurance. March 16th, 2026, Exemption 7, meeting minutes. March 16th, 2026, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. March 23rd, 2026, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. March 23rd, 2026, Exemption 7, meeting minutes. March 30th, 2026, Exemption 7, meeting minutes. March 30th, 2026, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. April 6th, 2026, Exemption 7, meeting minutes. April 6th, 2026, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. April 13th, 2026, Exemption 3, litigation, Republic Services. April 13th, 2026, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. April 27th, 2026, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. May 4th, 2026, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. May 4th, 2026, Exemption 3, litigation, Republic Services. May 4th, 2026, Exemption 7, meeting minutes. May 18th, 2026, Exemption 3, litigation, Republic Services. May 18th, 2026, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. May 18th, 2026, Exemption 7, meeting minutes. Acknowledgement of review and release of the following executive session minutes subject to any necessary redactions pursuant to the Public Records Law. March 2nd, 2026, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. March 9th, 2026, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. March 16th, 2026, Exemption 3, litigation, 142 Main Street, Perry's Trailer Park. April 27th, 2026, Exemption 3, litigation, Republic Services. April 27th, 2026, Exemption 7, meeting minutes. May 2nd, 2026, Exemption 6, real property, 97 Main Street. Acknowledgement of review and to continue to withhold the following executive session meeting minutes as the purposes of such executive session have not expired and continued non-disclosure is still warranted. February 25th, 2025, Exemption 3, collective bargaining, health insurance. March 3rd, 2025, Exemption 3, collective bargaining, health insurance. December 8th, 2025, Exemption 6, real property, Riverside Drive. December 22nd, 2025, Exemption 3, collective bargaining, police patrol sergeants union. January 12th, 2026, Exemption 3, Collective Bargaining Police Patrol Sergeant Union. February 9th, 2026, Exemption 3, Collective Bargaining Police Patrol Sergeants Union. March 2nd, 2026, Exemption 3, Litigation Updates. March 2nd, 2026, Exemption 7, Right to Privacy. March 9th, 2026, Exemption 3, Collective Bargaining, Health Insurance. March 30th, 2026, Exemption 3, Collective Bargaining, Health Insurance. April 6th, 2026, Exemption 3, Collective Bargaining, Police Patrol Sergeants Union. April 6th, 2026, Exemption 3, Collective Bargaining, Health Insurance. April 6th, 2026, Exemption 6, Real Property, Riverside Drive. April 13th, 2026, Exemption 3, Collective Bargaining, Police Patrol Sergeants Union. April 13th, 2026, Exemption 6, Real Property, 7375 Main Street. April 13th, 2026, Exemption 6, Real Property, 8486 Main Street. April 27th, 2026, Exemption 6, Real Property, 7375 Main Street. April 27th, 2026, Exemption 6, Real Property, 8486 Main Street. April 27th, 2026, Exemption 3, Collective Bargaining, Police Patrol Sergeants Union. April 27th, 2026, Exemption 3, Collective Bargaining, Health Insurance. May 4th, 2026, Exemption 6, Real Property, 7375 Main Street. May 4th, 2026, Exemption 6, Real Property, 8486 Main Street. May 18th, 2026, Exemption 6, Real Property, 7375 Main Street. May 18th, 2026, Exemption 6, Real Property, 8486 Main Street. May 20th, 2026, Exemption 6, Real Property, 7375 Main Street. And May 20th, 2026, Exemption 6, Real Property, 8486 Main Street.
Well done, Charles, thank you.
Good job. Second, anybody?
No second.
There's no motion, no
Just
vote.
an acknowledgement. Michael's up.
Okay,
I have nothing to report.
oh, okay, then we're good.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adjourn.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by
Second.
Mr. O'Leary. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're good. Yeah, she's missing. Okay, thank you.